Counselors, welcome back to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are continuing our live recording. I actually enjoy, live streaming, getting some interaction. I need to do better. As you can tell, we've slowly been improving the quality. We're streaming on 4K. We've got overlays. There's more I would like to do, like unique things. I still need to get my Stream Deck because I got some fun things planned. I just got to learn how to do it. So I need to hook this up. But I do have it working where I can use the green screen and hook up the PC. The problem is I need to link the PC to this PC, and then I can just literally flip a switch, or in this case, maybe a deck to transition the scene and go and do a cool green screen effect. Maybe that's what I'll do for the next live stream. I'll try to have it prepared, and we'll do like we'll do a couple hour or an hour and a half video for our reaction replay podcast. I know, weird intro, but I wanted to take the time to really tell you guys that I'm brainstorming. I've just been doing a bad job because I'm playing a lot of video games this summer. I know, a gamer playing as many video games as possible over the summer. Sue me. I know one day I'm going to find a woman. She's going to get all my attention. Then I'm going to get married to her. Then I'm going to have kids with her. And then my life is going to be them. And so games are going to have a backseat. So I'm enjoying the bachelor life as much as possible. I know some people, go do parties and stuff as a bachelor. I play video games. I'm a nerd. I get pleasure from video games. So that's where I live. Anyways, talking about video games, we've got Bellier news. I like Bellier. He's professional. He's articulate. He has banger videos, and they're also pretty bite-sized. Something that I would, with Indie Bites, this is kind of where I get the idea to do short videos, is from Bellier and other content creators like him. Maybe not as clean, as professional as him. Maybe one day we will be. But in general, I do like Bellier. And I have heard a certain Destiny content creator constantly bring up a video game called Runescape, which is funny because I've actually played Runescape, and I went through high school playing Runescape. I went through Runescape, and I've said this before in another Runescape video, which really pissed people off because it was about I don't know what it was about, but it really pissed people off, which is kind of funny because we're about to talk about RuneScape. I remember going in high school. It was like freshman year. I would go to my local library. We didn't have internet where I lived. I lived with my parents at the time before I moved into my best friend's house, and they had internet. I didn't have internet. I literally had not a flip phone, but it was equivalent to a flip phone when people had smartphones. I was a broke boy. I'm saying it, okay? So I would go to the library and spend 30 minutes to an hour or however long, because they would cap the time that you can be on the computers, and I would play RuneScape. So as someone who's lived in that world before, and Astacross keeps talking about it, Bellier's talking about it. I'm very interested to say players are back. RuneScape finally cut the crap. I stopped playing because I kept on doing a lot of weird shit, and I know there's Classic. I just never went back. I'm very tempted to go try RuneScape once again just to see what it's like. Not the new one. I want to do Classic, but we're going to react to Bellier and see what is going on in the world of RuneScape.
What do the biggest, most valuable companies in gaming have in common? It's that they profit from doing what many of us consider the wrong thing. Loot boxes, gacha, predatory monetization, and the exploitation of users.
It's funny that they bring up Roblox, because Roblox has, I'm going to be honest, I think Roblox and Fortnite isn't even predatory. I don't. Out of everything, considering the sandbox and the amount of service that they give you, I think Roblox and even Fortnite are the least predatory in the sense of like the price and what they offer. You could say that they've been predatory. Like obviously Fortnite was doing a lot of scummy shit that they got sued for. Like I'm not excusing that predatoriness. I'm just saying for the bang of your buck and just for the fact that it's a free game that you never have to, really have to do the microtransactions, and for the amount of like playtime you can get out of it, I think it's pretty fair compared to the rest of the industry.
User labor, let alone the way employees are often treated pretty shitty and the knock-on effect that has on the quality of our games. And the argument is easy. Doing the wrong thing pays off.
He's doing green screen and his mic sounds different too. Like, I'm curious. I don't know if now I understand why people talk about my mic. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I don't know.
Living ethically, honorably, doesn't always pay off, and rarely at the same scale. Whenever Jagex, developers of Runescape, announced that they were pulling loot boxes from Runescape, ending XP sales, and listening to their players...
They had loot boxes in RuneScape? No ways. Also, this is Bandos? Am I saying that right? Bandos? I think it's Bandos armor. It was like a membership armor. I lived as in high school. I was a broke boy. I'm saying it. I played the free stuff. Like Zamorak was like my drip. I would walk around with Zammy, and then I would have the Santa hat and all that shit. Like I was the bee's fucking knees. Like I was like, I got the drip. And then I also would scam people and steal their accounts. I'm an asshole. Listen. If there's, I have never hid the fact, even in high school, I'm an asshole. I was an asshole. I scammed so many people RuneScape. I got so much gold. I got so much free shit. And a lot of it had to do with me taking people, either baiting them into a dungeon or an area where they got killed, or I took them out to the wilderness, or I just straight up hacked their account. Did I say hack because they gave me their information? And then I dropped their stuff in some obscure corner and then took them back. And then I went to the corner, or I already had my character in the corner. I'm an asshole, right? I don't do it anymore, and I wouldn't do it anymore. But as a high schooler, like I did you use any EQ for your mic? I use something. Like I'm using EQ now. If it doesn't sound bad, but yeah, back then I was an asshole. So I don't know why I'm going on a tangent. It just memory lane.
Their game. Well, they said that they would be the exception. And according to their CEO, it actually hasn't paid off. At least, not yet. In January 2026, RuneScape developer Jagex did the goddamn right thing. They removed their loot box-like monetization systems. They stopped rotating cosmetics and selling consumable items.
Oh, I do remember the cosmetics. That was the last thing that I remember when I stopped playing. They introduced cosmetics for membership. I remember that. And they had some really cool cosmetics, which really pissed me off. I was like, damn it.
They ended direct XP sales. These were things that the RuneScape community hated. This being done is nearly unprecedented in gaming, and especially because it was planned by devs, but it was ratified through a player vote. Now, this was rightly celebrated, and it was kind of shocking, perhaps especially because this all followed the 2024 sale.
Wow. Remove treasure hunter, you decide. Oh my God. You're telling me that Jagex gave the community the right to vote on removing something, especially MTX, monetary. The community says, get rid of it. And they said, okay, we're going to remove it. I cannot think of Bungie doing that. I can't think of Activision doing that. And any other egregious, greedy company. I could never imagine them letting their community make this decision for the game. Oh my God.
Of the company to private equity firms for about 1.1 billion USD. Whenever that happens, the game usually does get more hostile to players, not less, as they try to increase value. And it pointed to a new era for the game, perfectly timed because it just entered its 25th anniversary year. But it did not, it seems, produce a financially sound year. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm very good at signing up for a free trial, telling myself I'll cancel it later, and then finding the charge.
I do that. I do. I am really bad.
Sponsor Rocket Money is real useful. It security finds recurring charges and brings them all into one place, so you can actually see what you're actually paying for and cancel unwanted subscriptions.
Jesus Christ, $98 at Walmart.
Taps, which is exactly the sort of boring life.
What the fuck are you running at Walmart.com for $98? What the hell? Bro, I forgot that I had like Xbox Pass. And I was like, bro, I'm not even using that. So cancel that shit. I found out, what was it, Nintendo? I like back when I thought I was going to play a bunch of Pokemon ZA, I bought it. Worst decision of my life. I didn't even try to complete the Pokedex for that shit game. So, you know, screw me for that. Oh my God. What are you spending $98 on at Walmart? That's a recurring subscription.
Admin that, well, so many of us, including me, just end up putting off. But that's far from all Rocket Money does. It can give you one view of your spending across all your linked accounts with categories and reports that make it way easier to spot where your money is actually going, rather than having to guess and piece it together from several different apps in a way that's a total hassle. So, to get started,
I'm gonna try for free and unlock more features premium. I'm gonna be honest. This is I don't believe in using an app to do your job of reminding yourself of what you need to pay. Like, check your damn bank account.
For free.
That's not what I have to do.
.com/Bellular or scan the QR code.
This is like Lazy Boy R Us.
Just use the link down in the description. You can unlock even more features with premium, and the URL is rocketmoney.com/Bellular. And a big thanks to them for sponsoring the show. In an interview with the game business, Jagex's CEO, John Bellamy, really didn't mince his words. All the changes have not paid off, quite literally. Here's what he said.
It has impacted revenue, not positively, but exactly as we thought that it would. So RuneScape revenue down is down quite a large chunk.
The thing is, this was the only way it could go. Jagex pulled the most hated predatory monetization systems and replaced them with nothing. There was not a new plan to get players to spend more money. So
I think that's on them. But like, you did the good job at removing what was people didn't like. Give you problems and sell you the solution type of stuff. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Listen, I'm like, that sounds like bad planning on me. Like, what I'm afraid of is that people like are going to use, like, when I hear stuff like this, it causes me to fear that this becomes leverage in the future, where they're like, well, we tried listening to you guys and it hurt us. It wasn't beneficial for us, and we can't sustain, we need funds. But in this case, they removed something that was egregious that no one liked, and they didn't do anything like try to replace it with something that is acceptable by the community. And that's a you problem. That's a skill issue for you. And I feel like a lot of companies would use that as a Uno reverse card, like, see what we tried your way, it didn't work, so we're gonna go back our way. I don't know. Like, I have trust issues when it comes to companies. Like, I just don't trust very many game companies. I don't. It's trust issues. We've been screwed too many times by greedy corpo. It's hard for me to trust.
So, of course, they were losing revenue. But the thing is that this was actually all calculated by them. You see, 2024's financials showed a worrying trend. Revenue and profit were down. Microtransaction and premium revenue were both down year on year. And the only thing that was increasing, well, that was the single revenue stream that made up 78% of the company's income, which was subscriptions. And the only way you can increase your subscription revenue is to increase player counts or increase the price. And so far this year,
man, did you all hear that? I'm sorry. Did you hear what you just said?
You can increase your subscription revenue is to increase player counts.
Subscription is their biggest form of money. They need player counts, not retention, player counts. Let's hear it again. Run it back to me, Bellular.
Was subscriptions. And the only way you can increase your subscription revenue is to increase player counts.
Oh, yeah, retention's all nice, but you need those player counts to make the retentions worth it. Oh my God. Only if Marathon fans would figure that out. Wow.
Or increase the price. And so far this year, player counts have not risen in some great vast way, though they are very healthy indeed. And to basically understand what's going on and why they did this, we can just go back to their own words. Here's what they said. We have lost players to the way we approach microtransactions. It's pretty simple. And the thing is that after the changes, well, this was said.
The membership has now stabilized
Okay.
for the first time in about 4 years.
And that is the big thing. Jagex have leveled out their single most important metric, players. But they've only been given the grace to do that because of how the rest of the business is doing. That is currently good news for them, good news for RuneScape, but it does make you wonder, what if the rest of the company stopped doing so well?
RS25 is all about three things. It's about turning around RuneScape and getting it into a stable state so it's not on a decline, and that's our smaller product, but it deserves.
What you mean? You want to stabilize and you want more players? You don't just want to say 5,000 players is good? Oh, it's almost like you got to tell Bungie that.
It was a great life ahead of it. Give it that shot. We've just talked about it.
So that is how Bellamy frames why they could take the risk that they took with RuneScape to try and stabilize it. The RuneScape franchise,
Damn it, I want to play RuneScape now.
recently is their biggest thing. You see, Jagex sold off developers GameSpires in 2026, only 3 years after buying them. They then changed their trading name to Jagex, the RuneScape company.
What?
So they are very
I didn't know they did that.
committed. And what
What?
gets interesting is not that they made the changes they made or that players ratified them, it's that they had approval from the people who own them, the private equity firms who basically are the shareholders in this case, acting sort of as the shareholders would.
And the team above me all wanted to swing for the fences and accepted that this was going to be short to medium term pain. And they all agreed that we don't expect to see a turnaround happen inside of 12 months. This is a longer term thing, but we're taking this investment and this risk because you can't continue to do exactly what we're currently doing and expect different behavior.
Now, if I was to be cynical, I could say that might mean that come January 2027, those shareholders start expecting things to flip overnight with massive player growth and massive revenue. They've certainly invested enough money to warrant wanting those things. But in January, Bellamy told GameIndustry.biz that he had gone to the board to beg for, quote, multiple tens of millions of dollars more than the company had ever spent before. So basically, they're taking in less and they're investing more.
I think we said publicly, correct me if I'm wrong, we're putting about £200 million invested into our games starting in its 25th anniversary for the next couple of years. And that's like a profound level of investment that will set Old School, set it up to turn into a sort of stalwart product rather than a scrappy underdog.
Just under 10 times the profit they made in 2024, which is a huge commitment to this idea. Though it is, of course, a commitment.
Hold on. Subscriber average daily members 1.3 million. Oh my God. That's a lot of fucking people, like daily members, subscribers, not just peak. By the way, can I just give a shout out to Jagex for giving out this information? Imagine any other like gaming studio giving out this information where they're being transparent. My God, I would love to see this shit for other games.
Which is a huge commitment to this idea. Though it is, of course, a commitment they could still pull back should the winds change. But the principle does run bigger than any one game, and it does run longer than any 1 year. So with that going on, where is all of this confidence coming from? Old School RuneScape is basically a workhorse for Jagex, and it has paid off their investment.
For Old School RuneScape, I think we broke just about every record we've ever had across every major metric in the last 12 months, multiple times. It's on an unbelievable kind of heater.
And that's not idle boasting of things we can't check. We can actually see that OSRS has hit its highest peaks ever in history. That happened early 2026 with more than 260,000 players. And if you pick a random day in just this past week, you'll see that the OSRS 24-hour peak comfortably competes with the top 10 games on Steam.
You're telling me we're comparing charts? But I was told charts are not, like, this is not acceptable. You can't just, what? You can't look at peaks. I was told that Steam chart watching and this is not acceptable. You can't look at the population like this. No, this is not acceptable. You can't do that.
OSRS 24-hour peak comfortably competes with the top 10 games on Steam.
Damn.
And then there's RuneScape Dragon Wilds. Right out of the gate, it blew past
I need to play this too.
financial expectations. We all know it was a pretty big hit. The devs even said as much in their first roadmap, where what they wanted to do was just a shadow drop and then ramp up interest. Obviously, it went a little bit more than that.
We thought that game was going to sell about 200,000 units in early access. We're at about 1.3 million now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, since the beginning of this month, we've sold about another 100,000 units.
Now, the game is already gearing up for its full launch out of early access this September. And the reason why is you cannot launch on PS5 and Switch 2 with early access. But there's actually something else Dragon Wilds did. It's an international success. But most importantly, in one of the biggest markets they can expand into.
And we've seen, I think, 41% of day one sales of Dragon Wilds on the day that we released were sold in China. Since then, it's been more than 20%.
Bellamy frames that as basically success on something that's
It is. There's a reason why Marathon is struggling. They have no sales in China. China, even though like a lot of mobile, China is a massive consumer of video games. You're right, Azula. China is massive. And if you don't capture that audience, your game is not successful. I'm sorry. You need to be able to capture that. 41% exactly.
Specific, and something that actually challenged Jagex's assumptions about how their business could work.
Yeah, we have absolutely no presence. And part of that is because of what we make. We make these kind of Monty Python style humor, slightly self-deprecating, that kind of Blackadder, Rowan Atkinson, very British style of humor. It's been very Western world centric. That hasn't always resonated culturally in other nations, or at least that's what we just assumed. And then you release a product in China for the first time a week ago. And we've seen there's enough there for us to say, look, maybe our long-held suspicions about cultural fit aren't as true as we thought they were.
And the kicker, so far at least, is that only 75% of players have been RuneScape players in some other format, meaning that 25% of the game's players came from outside of the RuneScape orbit. That's pretty big. They basically managed
Azula, even Warframe in China as well. Yes.
to grow their business without resorting to the, egregious monetization or dark patterns or any of that nasty shit. And at least Bellamy's framing is that this is because you can't just rely on whatever the data suggests will be successful. And if I was to draw a thread through so much of what's been frustrating about the games industry over the last 15 years, it's that numbers are a lagging indicator. You only see sales numbers after the fact. And when we find ourselves led by lagging indicators, we can really miss the forest for the trees. We can really end up optimizing the wrong thing. And I'm sure you felt that in the games that you play. And I guess while this is only one CEO, if we can get more CEOs finding themselves in positions like this, well, that might just be good for the games industry. Because if the only thing we follow is money in the short term, gaming is not going to be something worth loving. Let's deal with the data side properly. So,
Zulfa, is Tencent involved with Jagex? A genuine question. I have no idea. I have not been part of that RuneScape world in a long time.
Jagex could have done.
It was like early 2000s. Like that's when I graduated. What 2000? When did I graduate? 2011. Yeah, I graduated a long time ago. Like that tells you it's been some time.
Down. They could have looked at the falling revenue and player numbers and just decided to go harder in monetization to maybe squeeze the people who remained more, which of course is going on everywhere. Many other bigger, more successful companies have done just that, and we've even seen Sony overtly talk about how they need to increase revenue per user in the face of current market conditions. Let's just say. And the thing with this story is that Jagex for the longest time had just been following the data in that very traditional shitty way. The layoffs of, say, June 2025 gutted community managers and support staff. They ended bespoke projects like Sandaris. Bellamy himself didn't want to risk the controversy of developing Pride content. They were so defensive and worried. There were many rationalizations that just never quite rang true. But when it comes to the money, he is rather clear here in this interview, and he's clear that they cannot just follow the data, that they cannot do it.
So I couldn't have put it better myself. It doesn't feel safe. I think it feels safe to have numbers making the decisions for you. Yeah. I think as soon as you get lost in that, you're not really making decisions anyway. You're just letting consequences roll out of data points, which is unfortunate. I think for
which is what you're seeing with these big studios that they're shutting down, or big companies like Sony and Microsoft. They're shutting down studios. They're laying off a bunch of people. They're making dramatic changes. They're like, again, people act like the numbers don't matter. They do. But I think when you get lost as a company, you're getting lost in the sauce. You're chasing the numbers. You're not chasing, success.
Us leading with heart is the only thing that we can really do well. I think we're never going to outdata the big guns.
So on monetization, at least, they can do the right thing. Seemingly backed by staff, by corporate shareholders, by leadership goals, and even by data. But it has not paid off yet. And that obviously is what they want to change.
They have bunny girls? Oh my God, they got bunny girls.
They need to change.
On October the 3rd at Rune.
No wonder China... Bro, no wonder the Asians like the game. 41%. They saw Bunny Girl and they're like, damn, I need that anime waifu.
Fest will be announcing our equivalent of putting a feast on the table.
Okay.
To really actively win people back. And that'll be happening much sooner than I think many people expect.
Obviously, any interview like this will soon turn to the future, especially when it's in the context of good things were done, but the numbers haven't quite went up yet. And the basic way this story is shaking out is that everything before October is just fixing problems with Jagex's business model, fixing the things that pushed people away, the parts that broke people's trust. And that is broadly done now. But stripping that stuff out is nice, but it's not what the shareholders wanted to invest in. They will almost certainly want to target player retention. They will want to bring people back in. They will want to get more money. Hopefully that won't mean they fall
Magic
back
carpet,
into
cool.
bad patterns and practices. There is just one question looming over all of this, and that is, the people holding the purse strings might have agreed that they don't expect a turnaround within 12 months. Question is, when do they expect that by? And if they don't see one, what happens then? Because in this case, doing the right thing had a cost. That will obviously need to be paid somehow, but not only somehow. It needs to be paid somehow by some time. And that's the challenging thing. Games are hard. Live games are even harder.
Yes.
And there are things in the market, headwinds, etc., that you can't always predict. But what I can at least say, as
Cat Girl too. They have Cat Girls.
Lapsed RuneScape player, is that this is the first time in my adult life that RuneFest is even in my head as something I might be interested in.
Ooh.
That's quite the achievement. So, for the sake of good video games,
It's such a clean fucking outro.
but if you'd like to learn a bit more about the guy who thinks that this AI voice acting is right, well, what?
He has such a clean, like his presentation is so clean. Like I know he probably pays an editor to do it, but damn, it looks fucking clean. Like I aspire to have such a clean setup. Like man, it's just, I would love something clean. And I do have the green screen, by the way, so I can do some green screen videos like this. I just need to write scripts and actually take the time to do stuff. And that's the biggest problem for me is one right now, summer is stop playing games and actually just make videos. But I kind of do whatever the F I want. And most of the time, my desire to just chill and play games kind of overrides that. Like, I'm being really honest. Streaming and recording, that's fine. Editing, like I have to be in the mood. It's a hobby versus, it's a job. I don't do, when it starts becoming a job, I literally rebel against myself. Like, no. I like, and when it becomes a job, I don't do it. The Bellier mic is kind of ass here. Sounds muffled. He's probably experimenting like I did. Like he might have like a piece, like a hot mic. Like mine doesn't sound great for my reviews, but that's okay because I want it to sound different because usually my skits aren't just me in front of a microphone. So it's supposed to sound different. I like the green screen. I don't like, or at least the black screen, whatever he's doing. It looks really clean. The mic sounds muffled. Yeah. To be honest, MMO in China are pretty massive enough to have their own market category. Yeah. Anyways, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Link will, like I said, if I didn't say it already, will be down below. Bellier is awesome. Shout out to them. And I will see you guys in the next video. Huzzah!